Hello everybody, welcome to the Native Juice live stream. And we are here with our awesome special friend, Jared. And Jared, tell us who you are to Native Juice.
I make a line of probiotic foods and drinks that you guys sell here. I'm interested in probiotics, so my business is helping people educate them about probiotics and gut health.
And that is what we're here for. We want to know all about the probiotics.
Wow, all right.
Probiotics 411.
I'll start it this way. Most people have heard of what an antibiotic is, and essentially antibiotics are things that destroy bacteria in our bodies. Probiotics are really the opposite. So pro meaning life, bacteria. So probiotics are essentially just living bacteria that reside in and around our bodies, and their whole purpose really is to help our bodies digest foods, specifically sugars and starches. If there's no sugars and starches that need to be destroyed and eliminated, then they do a whole host of other things. But probiotics are really all over our body. What happens is so many people get segregated into, well, I do yoga, or I do bodybuilding, or I do this diet or that diet. But the bottom line that we all really have, and the commonality that we all have, is that we really want to digest foods better in order to do specific things, whether that is, like I said, to go to yoga class, to work out efficiently. And that's really the most important part. So why wouldn't you do everything in your power to actually get your body to better digest food so that you can do exactly what you're meant to do, which is live life, be active, etc. And so people that have digestive problems, food is not necessarily their friend, so to speak. I'm sure you know plenty of people that there are foods that they just don't like to eat, or they don't get around again because it makes them feel bad. But if you can eliminate all of those, people would be generally happier. So probiotics, it helps to better digest foods. Again, you can create energy, you can do so many things. Most people don't know that your immune system, most of your immune system, or your body's ability to fight disease and infection, is actually found in your gut. You don't know that much about probiotics. Well, let me tell you specifically that probiotics are necessary for your body to fight disease and infection. So do everything that you can to strengthen that so that you can become healthier. You won't have the sniffles, allergies. Bacterial components that you get in your body tries to fight, and then what happens is if it doesn't have enough good bacteria, the bad bacteria take over and you become sick, you become ill. And then if that compounds and you continue to prolong that sickness, then you can get disease and all sorts of other disorders associated with that. What I like to say is I'm a big mental health component, and I like to talk about that, but your brain and your gut are made of the same type of tissue. So the reason that that's important is that most people think that your brain tells your body what to do, and it's actually the opposite. Your gut is what they call the second nervous system, but it controls everything else. So if this is working properly, then your brain works efficiently, your body works efficiently, and all works in tandem. But yeah, roughly 3/4, 80-90% of the serotonin in your bodies is actually produced in your gut. Dopamine as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
GABA. There's a whole host of really what are called neurotransmitters that help your body really to communicate. Your brain sends out signals from one cell to the other, and the probiotics can actually help to facilitate that.
And I thought that was revolutionary to me. I had no idea how attached the gut and the brain were working, like with the nervous system and with mental health. Like your diet has a major impact on what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and I didn't know about that.
Right. Yeah, and most people don't. When you get nervous, let's say that you get nervous, actually the butterflies in your stomach is actually the nerves, and it's sending out pulses that it's that you're nervous, you're angry, you're upset. And again, the ability to do that, as opposed to, when you think that you're nervous, nobody ever says, well, I've got butterflies in my head. No, it's always in your gut. And the reason for that is because all of those happy hormones, those neurotransmitters that your body needs in order to function properly, are generally produced in the gut.
That's amazing.
That's really technical in the sense that, when people go to the health food store and say, I want this specific type of bacteria, generally that kind of defeats the purpose. And the reason for that is that if you have to remember that bacteria and probiotics are actually living components. So we, as a species, evolve. right? So bacteria does the same thing. So thinking that you can take one specific strain of bacteria or one specific strain of yeast or anything like that that is going to solve a problem doesn't work, because our bodies never work in a vacuum. So what I try to say is just try to get as much fermented foods, as probiotic foods as you can, because what's going to happen is your body's going to tell you what it needs. You know, if you decide that you want to take just a significant amount of probiotics to see what happens in your body, go ahead and do it. And it's going to say, oh, wait a minute, that was too much at one time. Or, you know, you might think that, oh, I'm going to the bathroom more frequently. It's best really just to focus on a multi-bacterial component. There are actually more bacterial cells in our body than there are human cells. Wow. So we're more bacterial actually than we are human.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So if you think about taking 10 strains of probiotics, it's really a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. So I say put as much as possible in there. I mean, some might have more probiotic content, like for example the kombucha. I see some of the kombucha that you have that has a lot of detoxing components. It has a lot of yeasts and acids, which is that vinegary type taste. Whereas things like the sodas, the probiotic sodas, it's more of a probiotic component to it, so it has a lot of bacterial components. You know, when you have fermented foods, you know, you don't want, if you're going to eat fermented foods, Parker, it's important to have naturally fermented as opposed to things that have vinegar, like those Vlasic pickles, vinegar in it. So just because you eat a pickle doesn't mean that it's probiotic. So you just go out and look for fermented foods and you find things that you like to eat. And I always tell people, it doesn't really matter if you don't actually enjoy the foods that you're eating, regardless if it's fermented or not. It really defeats the purpose of eating and powering your body in general. So you go out and you can go to any health food store, find things that you like the taste of, because again, that gut-brain connection, if you don't enjoy the foods that you're eating, your stomach's not going to like it either. So find something that you like, find something that you enjoy, and then just really, like I said, just continue to put that stuff into your body. Yeah, so this is just fermented sugared water. Kombucha is fermented sweetened tea. This is fermented sweetened water. It's all organic. We take the cultures, we let it sit just in sugared water, let it sit for several days, and then we put a whole lot of organic ingredients, let it continue to ferment there as well. But it's naturally carbonated. It's light and refreshing. Of course, I'm a little bit biased to it.
Dairy-free, junk-free, enzyme-rich. So I'm gonna pour some of this ginger ale and see how it tastes.
I really enjoy the rose cardamom and the lavender lemonade as well.
It tastes pretty good. I wasn't really sure what to expect. When I hear soda, I think like really sweet, like Coca-Cola or something. The ginger flavor is very good.
Yeah, I call it soda just because it's carbonated. I mean, I could call it Jared's water, but somehow that doesn't have the same ring to it.
So it's more like carbonated water with the flavoring and probiotics.
That's basically what it is. So there's probably about 90 calories in that, and has about 9 to 10 grams of sugar in that whole bottle, actually. Probiotics need sugar in order to thrive and procreate themselves. So when people take probiotics, again, what it's trying to do is break down sugars and starches. So, you know, this product started with sugar, but the probiotics fed on the sugar and created that natural carbonation to it. It's kind of getting a delicate balance, making sure that it doesn't overflow or that it's flat, or a lot of people have kombucha that you open it and it overflows. Generally, it's just, that means that there's just additional sugars in there that it's consuming. Probiotics are good for eliminating sugars and reducing those amount of sugars in your body. So yes, without sugars, probiotics would not live. Prebiotics are essentially the foods that the probiotics feed off of. Prebiotics are a fiber. Let's say that if you wanted to have a lush green grass, a nice lawn. Now you could do a couple of things. You could go out and just throw a bunch of grass seed on the ground and hope that it waters and the rain comes out, and you might have patches of green grass. That's what I'd liken to most people just specifically taking probiotics. But in order to get a really lush green grass with good roots, you're going to have to do something to the soil. You're going to have to fertilize it. You're going to have to till it. You're going to have to really work it up. So what prebiotics do are like that fertilizer for the probiotics, or that lush green soil. So prebiotics are those fibers, those things that the probiotics basically can just feed off of and get strong roots into your gut, because the more prebiotics and the more healthier really that your gut is for those probiotics, the stronger your immune system be. The more the ability that you can produce those good happy hormones that I talked about, the better that you can digest food. So they are two separate components, prebiotics and probiotics. So just because somebody takes prebiotics does not mean that they're taking probiotics, and just because somebody takes probiotics doesn't mean they're taking prebiotics.
So you kind of need both.
You absolutely do, yeah.
Well, Jared, thank you so much. You gave me like ground zero lesson on all this stuff, and
then my job is complete.
Yeah. And so hearing and learning about things like the attachment of gut health and mental health has been really big in my personal journey, because I mean I'm going through life and I'm trying to figure this out, and realizing that a lot of the things I face every day or every night when I go to bed, like trouble sleeping, whatever, starts with what I put in.
Absolutely.
And I never considered that.
We as a society, as people, we always want to be healthy, and there's so many things that we can do to try to be healthy, and people get so stressed about getting healthy and what they need to do. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. If people just took maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month out of their whole life to really focus 100% on the foods and how they digest those foods, meaning that how do they feel after eating? What, do they feel lethargic? Do they feel sluggish? But if you just truly made a mental note and to be self-aware enough to, document your journey over the course of a month, your long-term health will be exponentially increased. But most people don't. They want that immediate result. Gut health is where everything is. And if you can get that in tip-top shape, essentially your brain, your body, your mind, everything works in tandem. It's really a great thing. So.
And thank you so much, Jared, for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So awesome.
Sure.